RuneLite is an old school RuneScape client that adds an unbelievable amount of quality of life to your RuneScape experience. It features over 1,000 plugins that you can pick and choose from to customize and enhance your gameplay. If you don't use it, you should. It can be downloaded through the Jagex launcher or at runelite.net. You guys really liked the video I made last year about my favorite plugins, so I figured it was time for a part 2. Some of these plugins can be found in the already installed section of your client, and some are found in the plugin hub, which can be accessed by clicking on this little plug up here. We're starting off with the Grand Exchange plugin. If you open up the settings for this plugin and click the box next to Highlight Search Match, then change the search mode to Fuzzy Fallback, two really useful things will happen when using the GE. Fuzzy Fallback lets you put in shortened versions of an item and it will still pop up. For example, if I put in Sarah Sword, the shortened version of Sarah Doman's sword, it will still show up in the search. If you type Sarah Sword without this plugin, absolutely nothing pops up. It also lets you heavily misspell items and still finds them. Here you can see I typed Azel instead of Abyssal, yet it recognizes what I was trying to type and shows the results. The Highlight Search Match puts a nice little underline under the items it thinks you're searching for. As someone who misspells things frequently, this is a plugin I cannot live without. If you ever happen to find yourself in the dangerous wilderness and don't want to accidentally run into a multi-combat zone, make sure to enable the Wilderness Lines plugin. It will show you exactly where the multi-combat areas are, the level 30 and 20 teleport lines, and it will even show you where you can't stand so you don't get dragon speared into multi. Super useful so those pesky PKers don't get your spade when you're doing a clue scroll. I recently started using the Inventory Setups plugin, and oh my god, I can't believe it took me so long to start using this. This plugin lets you add custom gear and inventory setups that you can save for whenever you need them. You can access these setups in the plugin itself, and even better, you can access them in your bank. This plugin requires the bank tags plugin to be turned on, so make sure you have that enabled. I'm going to use my rune crafting gear as an example. Let's go ahead and equip my gear and get out everything I need in my inventory. Once that's all done, you go to the Inventory Setups plugin and click the green plus. We'll click Add New Setup and call it Blood RCing. We can then click the eye on the right here, which will show us exactly what we were wearing, what was in our inventory, and what spellbook we were on when we saved the setup. You can even add notes here on the bottom if you'd like. Okay, now let's bank everything. Head back to the plugin tab and click this icon all the way on the left. It's called Enable Bank Filtering. Now open up your bank and click the eye on the plugin again. Boom, there's the inventory you saved. Now you can just click on everything to take it out of your bank and you're done. No need to search for the items, no need to switch between tabs and struggle to find where they are. This plugin makes it nice, simple, and clean. That's the general gist of it. You can get pretty in-depth with it and do a lot more. It's definitely worth playing around with it a bit. This is just insanely useful for saving your gear setups, especially for things like PVM grinds where you have different inventory and gear setups for different bosses. It just makes it a lot easier to remember exactly what you need. Imagine you could only use the worlds on RuneScape based off your location. You wouldn't be able to hop to worlds outside of your country, restricting you from a ton of content. Well, that's exactly what happens with a bunch of online content, and that's exactly where ExpressVPN can help. Netflix has thousands of shows, but you can only get access to a fraction of them based on your location. My favorite movie of all time is Inception, but I can't watch it because I'm located in the US and it's only available in Canada, India, South Korea, and Turkey. But thanks to ExpressVPN, I can connect to a server in any of those countries and boom, I can watch Inception on Netflix. It's that easy, and it's all thanks to ExpressVPN. With servers in 105 countries, super fast speeds with zero buffering, compatibility with all types of devices like phones, laptops, and smart TVs, what's not to love? I've used ExpressVPN for over 4 years now, and it has saved me countless amounts of times. It's also got my back when traveling, keeping me safe whenever I use an unencrypted or unsecured Wi-Fi network. It keeps me much more anonymous online and makes it much more difficult to be tracked. Right now, you can take advantage of ExpressVPN's Black Friday Cyber Monday offer to get the absolute best VPN deal you'll find all year. Use my special link expressvpn.com/SoupRS to get 4 extra months with the 12-month plan or 6 extra months with the 24-month plan totally free. That's expressvpn.com/SoupRS to get an extra 4 or even 6 months of ExpressVPN for free. The Better Teleport menu turns a bunch of the boring teleport menus into easy to see and click pieces of art. I talked about the Spirit Tree and Fossil Island tree maps in the last video, but they also now have the Skills Necklace map, which turns the Skills Necklace menu from this to this. You don't even need to read to understand what's going on here. Just click the skill of the guild you're looking to go to. The Wilderness Obelisk map goes from this to this. The Wildy teleports can be confusing on the obelisk, so this makes it way better. The Xerix Talisman map goes from this to this. And finally, the new Lovakenge minecart map goes from looking like this to this. Way better. You can enable the ones you like and disable the ones you don't. Speaking of better looking teleport mods, the Nexus menu map makes your Nexus teleport menu go from this to this. Just click on the area you need to teleport to and it will show you if you can teleport to it with your Portal Nexus. The map itself is just amazing to look at, honestly. Actually incredible pixel art. The Not Empty plugin completely removes the empty option when you right click on a vial. Never again will you accidentally empty a potion that you really needed to stay full. I'm a big fan of the Instant Inventory plugin. This one's pretty neat. So everything on RuneScape runs on ticks. One tick is 0.6 seconds. While that is fast, it can make it seem like you're lagging sometimes when you aren't. For example, if I were to drop an item at 0.1 seconds, it wouldn't actually register in the game until 0.6 seconds. So when that tick happens. If I were to drop it at 0.5 seconds, it would seem almost instant since 0.1 seconds later, the item drops. Both times the item was dropped on the same tick, but one felt faster than the other. The Instant Inventory plugin fixes that. Kind of. This plugin will give you visual feedback to make it seem like it was actually dropped, even though technically the game hasn't dropped it yet. Here are some examples. With the plugin on, when cleaning herbs, you are shown visually that you've already cleaned all the herbs, even though the game hasn't finished yet. The same thing happens when equipping items. The same thing happens when depositing and withdrawing things from your bank. Again, this isn't making anything actually go faster, it's just making it seem like it is. To me, it makes everything feel quicker and way more responsive, which I really like. The Looting Bag plugin makes keeping track of what's in your looting bag super easy. Just make sure the bag value and free slots boxes are checked and you can now see two numbers. The top number is how many free slots are left in your looting bag, and the bottom number is the total value of what's in your bag. If you've ever wondered if you have any items that could profit you some GP while high alching, the Alch Profit plugin has got you covered. With this enabled, any item in your inventory or bank will have a highlight around it if you can profit from it while high alching. Items highlighted in white are the smaller profits, items highlighted in green are the bigger profits, and items highlighted in yellow are untradeable items but can still technically be alched for profit. All the colors can be changed in the plugin settings as well. You can also customize it for things like the GE prices of nature runes and items, your source of fire runes, and if you're using Bryophyte as staff or not. For all of you who do farm runs, you need the Did I Compost plugin. I bet you can't guess what it does. It will tell you whether or not you've applied compost to a farming patch. Crazy, right? If you're somebody who likes to AFK a lot like I do, the AFK Countdown plugin will tell you exactly how much time you have left until you log out. Don't forget to enable the logout timer and set it to 25 minutes to be able to stay logged in for up to 25 minutes instead of the original 5. Another plugin everyone should have turned on is the Kitten Tracker plugin. If you'd like to help prevent the death of future kittens on this game, please enable this. It will let you track the age of your kitten, show you how long you have before your kitten will leave you because of lack of attention or food. It can show notifications to remind you to feed your cat. You'll never lose a kitten again with this turned on. Also, did anybody notice that the stray dog in Varrock comes up to your kitten and plays with it? I had no idea this interaction existed. That's actually adorable. If you happen to play in Resizable mode, you can enable the Resizable Chat plugin to either stretch your chat super far to the right or stretch it up to see a lot more messages. I absolutely love the Shop Calculator plugin. As someone who is always buying items from NPC shops around the game to see if they'll make me profit, this plugin has made my life much easier when it comes to calculations. Here's what it does. When enabled, you can give the calculator information on what you're buying, and it will give you a bunch of information in return. Let's say I want to buy 1,000 lockpicks from Martin Thwaite's shop in the Rogue's Den. The base value of the lockpicks in this shop is 20 GP. The change per rate is 2%. I want to buy 1,000, and he stocks 25 lockpicks per world. Let's go ahead and click calculate, and we can see that it's going to cost me 24.4 GP per lockpick for a total of 24.4 thousand GP. It even shows me how many worlds I need to hop to get them all. This can be used for any NPC shop in the game. It's a really easy way to see exactly how much GP you'll need when buying out the stock, and if you're going to profit when selling back to the Grand Exchange. This next plugin is one that I personally haven't found a use for yet, but I feel like I will soon. I don't know why. Maybe some of you will find it useful right away. It's called the StopMisclickingTiles plugin. With this plugin enabled, when you shift right click on any tile and select the Disable Walk Here option, the Walk Here option gets removed when you hover over it, effectively stopping you from moving onto the tile. Now, while you can still run over it, this plugin just stops you from being able to left click walk on it. Could be useful when PVMing, for example, and you want to stop misclicking on tiles that are behind a boss maybe. I don't know. Either way, cool plugin, and thought I'd mention it. Speaking of plugins that stop you from walking on tiles, check out the Immersive Ground Markers plugin. Let's say there's a set of tiles that you are really trying to avoid or really want to remember to step on. Why not enable this plugin and place a big red X on that tile, or maybe an exclamation mark, or a cabbage, or some bones, a big blood splat, a balloon animal, or a fly trap? Look at all these different things you can place on the ground to stop yourself from running on it or to remind yourself to run on it. I mean, you can even just use this plugin to decorate around the game a bit too. Definitely a neat one. A plugin you thought you maybe wouldn't want but definitely will now is the camera smoothing plugin. When enabled, this will smooth out your camera rotations and zooms. On the left is what the zooming looks like without the smoothing, and on the right is what it looks like with the smoothing. On the left is what the camera rotations look like without smoothing, and on the right is what it looks like with smoothing. It's a subtle but noticeable difference, another one of those changes that makes the game feel less old than it actually is. If you enable the Last Seen Online plugin, you can hover over any name on your friends list and it will show you the last time you were online at the same time as that person. Also a great tool to prove that your friends are wasting XP if they haven't been online in a while. Here are some plugins that I find fun and might add some enjoyment to your OSRS experience. A plugin was added recently called the Examine log. This is pretty much a collection log but for examine texts. If you didn't know, most of the items in the game have some type of right-click examine text, one of the best and most unique things about the game, and this plugin will keep track of all the ones that you found. Just right-click on the collection log menu here and select Examine log, and you can track everything you've examined so far. When you right-click on things in the game and there's a little star icon, it means that you've actually never examined it before and you can add it to your examine log. There are over 19,500 things to examine in game. Try and see how many you can get. The cool 2H plugin makes the way your character holds a two-handed sword go from this to this. Way cooler. Pretty much makes it look like you're holding a god sword if you're holding a 2H weapon. The motivation plugin will write some motivating messages in your chat after you die in game. If you've ever wanted to do some quick calculations on the fly and impress your friends, make sure to download the Calculator plugin, which adds a calculator as a tab to your RuneLite client. The More Fireworks plugin causes fireworks to appear if you type GZ, @ or a custom message of your choice. I changed mine to soup, so anytime somebody says my name in game, fireworks appear, and that makes me happy. You can also have them appear if you get a drop above a certain value. Just set the item value trigger number you want and enjoy the fireworks when you get a drop. The Snake plugin is a really creative plugin that lets you play the classic game Snake in RuneScape. When you start a new game, you have to walk and collect the purple orbs in a defined space, but every time you collect an orb, the trail of acid behind you gets longer and longer. You have to constantly be moving to make sure you never get caught. It's actually kind of a good way to practice movement and get used to where and when to click to avoid taking damage. My high score is 24. Let me know if you beat it. The Blindfold plugin is a great way to turn everything on your screen into a single color, except for yourself. It also has this crazy setting where you can disable everything but the terrain. Look how wacky this looks. So weird. The Keyframe Camera plugin is absolutely incredible. No surprise since it's made by Goody. With this plugin, you can set keyframes to have a camera fly around and look all cinematic and professional. Look at how good these shots look. You can get really creative with it. You can change the amount of keyframes you have, change the type of camera easing there is. For content creation, this plugin is an absolute game changer and one I will 100% be using for Gillenor Games Season 5. If you found some of these plugins useful or enjoyed the video, subscribing and leaving a like on the video helps out immensely. Thanks in advance. If you're looking for more RuneLite plugin suggestions, check out my RuneLite plugin video from last year, which features a ton of other amazing plugins. If you have any plugins that you think I or other viewers should try out, let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions or need help with a plugin, feel free to join my Discord and shoot me a message in there and I'll do my best to help. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.